Okay, so now you can see how easy that sanded with 40 grit while it was still green. It's still high, and it's not perfect yet, but we got the bulk of it knocked off. So now we're gonna go down, that was 40 grit, we're gonna go down to 60 grit, sand it with some 60 grit. Alright, now that was sanded with 60 grit, so the scratches are getting finer. You can see the body work is taking shape real nice. You always want to make sure you get all your edges. You don't want no bondo, goobers hanging off the edges of the body work. That's a mortal sin. So now I'm going to go down to 100 grit. I'm going to sand it with 100 grit and feather edges a little bit. Make sure to get these edges feather edged out a little more and just do the final details. Check, make sure there's no pinholes in it. If there are, then we'll use a little poly putty, put that in there. But let's sand it with some 100 grit and see what we get when we're done with that. Alright, then when we sand our parts, we always want to hold the block kind of straight with the part, and you always want to sand it hash marks, no crisscross if you can. Sometimes you have to turn the block to get certain ways, but we always try to go along and do cross hatching like this. And then go this way, and go this way. Keep doing that until you get the surface to the shape that you're looking for, you know, follow the tank. And we've got this pretty close, but there's a couple spots here that are some low spots. So I will use some poly putty and we'll put a thin coat of poly putty on these and sand that out. And then if it looks past the inspection, we'll go to the paint or to the primer. Okay, so here's a spot that we have, a little low spot right there. Sometimes you'll have little air bubbles or something when you spread the boundary, you get little air bubbles. So we use poly putty. Just put on super thin like that. Fills the imperfections. Sometimes if we sand this and we're at 80 grit or a little coarser, sometimes I'll skim the whole part with poly putty and sand it because it sands easier. But on this job here so far, we didn't have to. It's in pretty good shape. Here's some small pinholes I was talking about, so just skim it on there tight like that. And that fills the pinholes, because if there's a pinhole and you try filling it with primer, it really never fills it. There's always a pinhole and they're a real pain. So if you see pinholes, fill them with poly putty. And we try not to sand through the gel coat on this stuff. You can, it's not a real big deal, but typically I stop when I start hitting that type of, hitting the gel coat or hitting the fiberglass. So we'll let this dry for a few more minutes. Sand out, same thing, hash, crisscross it, and we'll take it in the booth, put some primer on it.